Good morning and welcome. Getting an early start today. Today I am taking a group tour arranged through Viator. I don't typically do that, but as you'll see in a moment, this is not one that would be very easy to arrange on my own, I think. Not impossible, but for the amount of stuff supposedly we're going to be doing today, it would be difficult to get all the transportation figured out. So this right here is what I am doing. The Bernina Red Train and St. Moritz and Lake Como. Comes one of the old school Milan street cars. So anyway, it leaves from the Milano Centrale station, or nearby it anyway. So I'm currently Google mapping my way over there. It leaves quite early, 7 a.m. It is a little after 6:30 right now. So I am making my way. The tour goes on a bus first, I believe, and then either goes from St. Moritz to, I don't know, you go to some town up in the Alps. You take this train, which is, I think, the highest elevation train, regular train line in the world. You ride the train for a couple hours to a different spot, and then they pick you up there. And then there is also included in it a boat ride in Lake Como. It was not a cheap tour. $192 US, which is definitely more than I typically spend. I've been trying to keep myself budget. So like yesterday, my spend on activities was €15 for the museum entrance and €13.20 for public transport each direction. Alright, so that imposing structure is Milano Centrale, their main train station. It is much, much, much bigger than Milano Porta Garibaldi, which is what I'm staying right next to.
El lago está dividido en tres brazos. Nos encontramos en el brazo, estamos viajando por el brazo sur. This is a small town, it's called Bernina. Now in a few minutes we will get off.
Alright, the tour is on a little break. they let us free to go wander around this small town on the side of Lake Como. So far, really enjoyed the tour. There was about a 2-hour long bus ride. The first 45 minutes or so getting out of Milan was not the most exciting thing in the world. But then, once we got close to Como, the second half there was quite scenic. It was along this very narrow road. So they drove us up about halfway up Lake Como, and then we did a boat tour. The boat tour was pretty cool. It was about 30 minutes, drive around the lake. They dropped us off at a different spot, then they picked us up in this small town. I would tell you the name of the town, except I don't have cell service here. I don't know if my phone is acting up because I've been randomly dropping it, or if just the international service on Google is not the best. I use Google Fi wireless. Which is unlimited international, but it dropped yesterday for a little while, and it is dropped today. Now, it happened when we were out on the lake, so I thought it might be the lake that was giving you the problem. But now back in this town, you'd figure there'd be cell service. But alas, not so much. So I gotta make sure I don't get myself too lost here. But very pretty town. There's a tourist area that I was just in, and now I've gone and walked myself out. Another little market. I guess the Italians like their markets. This one doesn't seem to have much food, but there's a lot of clothing and such. As I was walking back towards where I think the bus is getting us, came across a miniature golf course right on the lake. How would you like to play miniature golf on that lake?
Estamos en Suiza, bienvenidos a Suiza. Pruebas de horquillas, ¿verdad? 13 hairpin bands. Au.
Welcome to St. Moritz. It's a little bit of a bougie Swiss tourist town. I guess the winter, lots of skiing. The summer, people come for the Alps. The drive here was delayed pretty significantly by a car accident that had us stopped in a tunnel for half an hour. So the 2-hour drive took almost 3. So we have about 30-40 minutes to walk around this town. I just popped into a little co-op grocery store. Co-op being like a chain. Germany, Switzerland, a few other places. Grabbed a plate to eat so I could use a little time I have to walk around. I will say the setting of this town is pretty serene. Got the Swiss wildflowers, you got the snow-capped peaks off in the distance. The drive up here was quite spectacular, aside from the 30 minutes sitting in the tunnel. So far, my review of this trip is, it is quite good, but be prepared to be sitting on the bus a lot. Now, that is something I was well aware of, but just be aware, if you're thinking about doing this, you've already been on the bus for probably 4.5, 5 hours. So there's two versions of the tour. One, you only come up and do the Bernina red train, which we have yet to do, but that is a train that somehow goes through these mountain passes back into Italy. It's the train station. You can't see it from where I am, but it's down there next to the lake. They've got these trains that go through the mountain into Italy. Evidently very scenic. Looking forward to seeing that. So there's a version of this tour where you do only that. I'm not sure what they would do in the morning. So with my tour, we met bright and early at 7:15. Took about 2 hours to drive to Como. Got there at about 9:30 and immediately jumped on the lake ferry. The lake ferry took pretty much 30 minutes, dropped us off in that little town, which I don't know the name of still. They gave us 45 minutes to wander around that town, and then it was supposed to be a 2-hour drive here to St. Moritz. We did get stuck. Now that wasn't the tour's fault. We got stuck in traffic for quite a while. There was an accident. These little narrow Italian Swiss roads, there's just no way to get around it. It wasn't even that, I mean, it was kind of a bad accident, but it was the kind of thing, if in a different place, they could just pull it off to the side. But there, we got stuck for half an hour. Look at these flowers. We got stuck for half an hour, but then, even if we had not gotten stuck, I think we spent another 2.5 hours or so in the bus. So the total drive time so far has been pretty close to 5 hours. The train ride is a little less than 3 hours, they said. And then I'm not sure how much bus needs to be done to get back to Milan. So it is definitely a full day. They said we should be back between 7:30 and 8 o'clock after leaving at 7. So of that time, I mean, you're going for the train ride, so you should expect the train ride to be part of it. The boat ride itself is 30 minutes. The bus ride, I will say, once you get out of Milan, is quite a good bus ride. It's long, so be prepared to sit, enjoy the scenery from the bus, but there is not a whole lot of action. We got just about an hour here in St. Moritz. I kind of ditched the rest of the group. Some people went to a cafe. I decided it would be a better use of time to walk around. The town is not very large, so eat something from the grocery store and walk at the same time. I had to stop and admire these wildflowers. They are just fantastic. Wonder if they just grow naturally or somebody seeds them. So the train station is right over there, behind the, what I would imagine, very expensive hotel. The train goes somehow up through those mountains into Italy. The bus came from that direction, which is, I don't know, southish, southwest. This one goes like north and east somehow, if I have my geography right, but they go from opposite directions. The road into town and the train out of town go in pretty much exact opposite directions. This town is very pretty. I think very pricey. The Swiss stuff is just generally pricey, but this just has the feel of you gotta be kind of rich to vacation here for any length of time. Very curious what the cheapest hotel room in town would be. Just thinking I gotta do myself a Switzerland tour where I kind of jump between these alpine towns. That might bankrupt me. I mean, look at that. Imagine, I don't know if people live there. I guess that's probably rentals. Can you imagine waking up and looking out and seeing the mountains? Ay, ay, ay. Jealous. station in the world, 2,500 some meters. Highest railway station in the world, highest point on this Bernina line. That train ride was pretty amazing. I'm going to have to cut down the number of videos I shot for this YouTube video, otherwise I'd have a feature length of views from the train. Alright, we're about to get back on the bus for a 2.5 hour, there it goes, for a 2.5 hour drive back to Milan. The train ride was amazing. Do I recommend doing it from Milan? Not so sure. We do spend a lot of time in the bus. A whole bunch of the group just went to use the restroom, so we're going to be standing around for a few minutes. So I think I will sign off here. 2.5 hour bus ride back to Milan, and then basically done for the day, because it'll be 8 p.m. by that point. So overall, really enjoyed this tour. The Lake Como is amazing, the train ride is amazing, St. Moritz is very good. The downside is you spend a lot of time on the bus. So I highly recommend the Bernina Red train. That was just spectacular. The views on there, truly amazing. I do not, however, recommend doing it from Milan. It's just, let's see, 2 hours plus 3 hours plus she's saying it's another 3 hours back. So that's like 8 hours on the bus. A little over 2 hours on the train. The train ride itself is like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's a lot of sitting. The train ride is really good. In Lake Como, we didn't spend enough time there to really see it, but it was quite good as well. So the places you go are amazing. It is just doing it from Milan. It's a bunch of driving. So that is all for this video. I'm going to go ahead and jump on the bus. That's my tour guide over there. A lady walking away in the distance. Hopefully she's going to yell at people. She asked them on the train to use the train toilet. We get off the train and now everybody's going in to use the toilet at the station. So very good tour. Highly recommend doing those two activities from Milan. It's questionable if it's worth all the driving. The $192, yeah, that's what it was, $192. I think it's pricey, but I think it's a fair deal. Like, it is going to end up being a 13-14 hour tour. You get a bus ride, you get a driver. The tour guide was quite good. So it's a little steep, but Swiss prices, tour prices, I don't think it's like out of the realm of being too expensive. Alright, gonna sign off, jump on the bus, and head on.